Hello everyone, it's Alex. Today I'm gonna show you how to create this app here. It's a keyboard where you can enter a maximum number of digits and you have to match with the tip here. Okay, for example, try to enter different characters here. I set my LCD panel to just show 8 digits. So here I am, I have 8. If I try the ninth or 10th, nothing happen anymore. And of course I can click OK and it does not match, and I can click clear, and if I match the tip here, which is a randomically create when the app starts, and I press OK, the numbers match and you have a winner here. Okay, so let's see how I do that. Here we go in Photoshop. I have the basic setup. I have one layer here called tip. Okay, I set this one I'm calling texture dica, which is in English text tip. Okay, I have this wing layer, which is this here. I have the computer, of course. I have the button clear, I have the button OK, I have the green state, which is going to be the over state, and I have it button. And of course I have this layer called texto, which is the LCD one. Okay, so this is the basic. So I have exported already my image, so I will not do it anymore now, so I disable that. So now that I have that, let's set some layer replacements here, and let's create some variables and some actions here. But the first thing that we must understand is, for example, the LCD1 here, which is text, this layer called text, this must be a special kind of layer, so it's not going to be an image, neither it can be a simple text. So we are going to use in this case a dynamic text replacement, which is pretty much every time something change, a variable change, for example, we are going to change the content of this layer. But so the first thing that we have to do is to create the variables, right? So we are going to have in fact two variables. We are going to have this one here, which will show the content of the number, or I mean the number that we have to match. So I'm going to call this one number tip, or in my case here numdica. So I came here, select the create variable, and this window open to me, and I set a name. Again, feel free to use another one. I use numdica. If I'm just update quick 2.4, it's not available yet. So if you leave a value in blank as is, you're gonna have an issue. So just put a 0 here and set this as a formula or a Boolean, and set it as a local to run before everything. Okay, so again, we are just create a zeroed variable called numdica here, and I'm gonna do the same for the variable that will control the LCD. So again, create variable, this window will appear. I set its name as LCD. Again, I set it's a Boolean. I could use the 0 here. In my case here, I just use 2 commas. Okay, and I'm gonna save this. So we have the variables. Okay, before we start to put code in here, let's just also select the wing layer. It's this text here, and let's set it as hide layer, because we need to hide this. Okay, we are not gonna show you one if you haven't. So okay, it's the wing here. So now that we have these two variables, we have to set those two text layers as something that shows live things. So let's start with the first one, which is this texto dica here, or text tip. You can rename it if you want. We come here to the layer replacements, and we are going to use in this case dynamic text. And if you're not familiar with dynamic, what dynamic does is it will always monitor the content of a variable, and every time that this variable changes, the, the 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 text layer, the dynamic text layer, will update the results. Okay, so we have the text Dica selected. Come here, press dynamic text, this window will appear. It's a very simple one. Okay, we are gonna associate this content to the variable. There's two variables, num tip. All right, and we are gonna use a system font, and in my case here I'm just using the offset 20 pixels, and the offset here is the vertical offset. What happens is, depending on the font that you are using, the device you are using, the text that you see here very well positioned will probably move on your screen. So we are need to come into set the offset properly to make it happen correctly in your code. So 20 points, I did the test, it's okay. So we create that. And we are going to do the same for the LCD text, which is in my case the text one. So come here, click dynamic text. This window will appear. Now we set this to LCD, and in this particular case the offset is matching. Again, I did the test before, so we create this. With that, we have our environment set. But if I just press play here or publish here, I'm gonna see here a zeroed number and a zeroed LCD, which makes no sense. We have, the first thing that we have to do is to set this number here for the tip. Okay, so what I did was to create an external code for that, because at this moment Quick does not have any function to do that, to create randomically numbers. And this number is a particular tricky one, because it's not just a number generated by one just randomically environment. For example, in this case we want just randomically numbers between 1 and 3. So I cannot just use it, okay, generate a number with 8 characters from 1 to, I don't know, 8 characters, it's lots of numbers. Let's say 999 million numbers. It's not the case. So for each character here, we need just a randomically number between 1 and 3. So the only way to do that is to create an external code. So I came here in the project and page toolset and select add external code. And in my case here, I set the name, put the name you want, and I'm telling that numDica, which is my variable for the tip number. Remember that we have this variable here, numDica. So I'm set that numDica, it's gonna be equal to, this is the Lua function that generates randomically numbers. In our case, we use mat.random, and in between parentheses 1, 3, meaning select a randomically number between numbers 1 and 3. Okay, and we need this in this case 8 times. So I generate that. Lua uses this dot convention as concatenation. So what I'm saying here is select a number between 1 and 3, put at the side of this number another number between 1 and 3, and I keep doing the copy and paste. So I did it 8 times. So it's going to be again the number, this number here, the tip number will be 8-digit number. Okay, and I'm going to set this on the top. So meaning that when I start everything, the numDica will be created and it's going to be in the top. Okay, so create. This is our external code. Let's see how it works now. Okay, so we have our randomically tip created, and if I keep coming here and refreshing this page, every time that I do that, you can see there's a randomically digit created. And because I didn't create any buttons yet, nothing's happening here. All right, so let's go back to Photoshop. The next thing to do is, and let's start with the easiest one, let's create a button for the clear. Okay, we select the clear button, we come here to interactions, add button, and we are going to create this button here. We set the name, and in our case the only thing that we need to do is to zero the variable LCD, which is the one which is the LCD. So what we are going to do here is I came here to code, edit a variable. It's the only thing that we do, and we set the LCD again to blank. And the way we do that is comma comma. Okay, we're going to create this, and that's it. The button clear is created. Let's wait a little bit for the OK, because we need to compare. But in fact, we can do the OK now. Let's click the OK again, add button, but OK. This is a little bit more trickier, but let's see what we did, what I have done here. First thing that I did was to come here to the condition and set an if, which is a logical thing. So what I'm doing is if variable LCD equals the numDica, which is the tip number. Okay, it's the only thing that we have to do now. We create this. What we are gonna do? We are coming here, and which is in fact in the common area, show hide. We are gonna show now the layer win, which is this one here. Okay, and because we open an if, we need to close an if. So come back here to condition and create an end if. So that's it. When you click the button, the OK button, it will check the content of the LCD equals the content of the tip. If so, show the win, and that's it. Let's create this button. The logic is done. Now what we have to do is to create the content for each button. So this way, every time someone press one of the numbers, the number will update here. The LCD will be updated. So let's select button 1, which is this layer N1. I have created it as well. Again, you can come here to interactions, add button, and name the button. And I did the same here. The only difference now is I use the condition if, but instead of just using the variable, I use an expression. Okay, so let me tell a little bit about this expression. I could do that as an external code, but I think it's nice to show people that they can do a mix of quick with external code without having to dig down the external code window. Anyway, another way to do things here. So if it's my condition, this expression, this string dot len, or of it, in fact this len means length, means string is the library that Lua uses, so it's a fixed thing. So string dot len means take the content inside the parentheses and return the number of characters inside that. Okay, so in my case here, I'm asking check the content of characters, the length in characters of variable LCD, and return to me. And we are making a comparison. If it's less or equal than number 7, because we calculate that the LCD supports 8 digits, so we are going to use, in this case here, one number below. So it's 7. Let's create it. What we are going to do is we are going to add the variable LCD. And again, this is the trick, because we set this variable as formula 1. We pretty much do the same like we did with the tip variable. We set the name again, LCD. So the content of LCD is going to be its own content, current content, 2 dots, meaning concatenate with number 1. So let's say your current LCD shows 2, 3. Now it's going to show 2, 3, number 1. Create, and we close the if. Okay, and now we have to do the same for the other buttons. I just create a button. I don't need to create the ifs, everything again. All I can do is I come here, select copy. Now I'm going to select button 2. I'm going to paste it to ask me a number. I'm going to say 2. I'm gonna edit it now, so this way I'm not gonna forget later. So the only thing that I have to edit is this editor variable here. So I'm gonna change this to 2, and I'm gonna select number 3 because the only thing that I have copied now is button 1 still. I'm gonna click paste interaction, name it to 3, paste, and I'm gonna edit the variable and now add 3. Okay, and create. And now we have our app. So let's publish. And now you can see I can enter numbers 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There is 6, 7, 8, and when I try the 9th, nothing happens. I'm gonna click OK. Oops, it's not the same number. Let's clear. Let's try to correct number 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, here we go. Hope you like it. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye bye.